Every state tournament has its big moments, but the girls' tournament is different. The emotions are different. It's an amazing rush. You know, I don't think any of us, whether it was Troy or myself or Danny, were over that moment for quite a while. For an unsanctioned tournament, the environment's great, the arena's great, the support's great, the announcer's great. I mean, everything about it is as good or better than a lot of state tournaments in other states, whether it's boys or girls. It felt like the big time, because it is.
The way I look at this tournament with not all of the girls, but with my experienced girls, Friday night is the qualifier. Friday is qualifying for the state tournament. Saturday is the state tournament. It's day and night, the quality of wrestling that you see from Friday to Saturday.
On deck on mat number 3 at 130, Kylie Doty.
So she probably was a little, probably less nervous than day one, just because she'd gotten a lot of the kinks out and a lot of that nervousness. She's a very dangerous wrestler, and Ashlyn actually had beaten the last year's state champion at Tatum's bracket at least once, maybe multiple times. You know, longer limbs, experienced. She's a senior, she's placed multiple times. Ashlyn does a really good job of digging underhooks, and so we were going to try not to cede that position and really kind of work our elbows in.
She was actually pretty strong, so I'm like, oh, well, she was pushing into me, how I could throw a jab. I like to call the opportunities where I can jab someone a jab opportunity, and that jab opportunity did not work.
One of Tatum's moves in her arsenal is the Gadsden, so it's basically an over-under outside trip.
Out of bounds.
So Ashlyn has a lot of range. It can be kind of hard to know how to manage that range. You know, your opponent's initially further away from you when they engage you. And so Tatum's trying to stay in good position here and have good head position. But Tatum goes for a fireman's, and it's really not there. Unfortunately, Ashlyn's head and hands are there to defend it, and she blocks it off pretty well.
I was thinking, oh crap, my worst position is bottom. I'm about to be on bottom, I'm about to lose. And I'm like, stop thinking like that.
And we're encouraging her, we're like, you know, just keep working, you know, don't panic. She's trying really hard to force that elbow roll. She ends up casting over when she really shouldn't have.
I realized that my dreams of winning were kind of just done by then. Like, there's no chance of me getting first now.
She was pretty negative. Every loss at state is meaningful, because if you lose on the championship side, that flips you to the consolation side. You can't be a state champion anymore. If you lose on the consolation side, depending on where it is, either you can't place as high or you don't place at all. So there's more at stake. She knows that, you know. It's like anything. You have to give your athletes a little time to adjust, and we did. Danny's match was against a young lady from Colfax Mingo who I believe is a freshman, but she comes from a family that wrestles. Here we go. Her sister's a senior, so she's been around wrestling quite a bit. And that Colfax Mingo room is a good room. I mean, they have a lot of experienced wrestlers. In fact, a lot of their girls are seniors. And so that's a wrestler that you can't make mistakes. And, you know, unfortunately, we made a positional error. We got cow catcher to our back. You know, those are tight. You know, it was tough. I think it took the wind out of a lot of our sails. Obviously, she was devastated. I know Troy and I were really disappointed for her, but not in her. You know, at no point were we disappointed in her, but you want the best for your athletes, and you want them to continue that train of success rolling, and you know, it just didn't happen, but that's okay. And she should be really proud of her tournament.
That's all right. I think she's one match away from being maybe a place winner, but that's a far cry from 0-2 the year before.
You had so many big wins. Dominated people.
On to the 115 consolation round, at number 8, Kylie.
It's a little sad that it happens as your last tournament as a senior, but that's okay. I mean, we're here to build that confidence in the girls to going forward into their lives. It's not about winning that state tournament all the time.
I'm so glad you came out for wrestling. I hope you are too. It took her time to reset, but she did. She did, to her credit. I'm really proud of her for doing that. This is Dakota Whitman from Independence. She's a good wrestler. I can't remember if she placed the year prior or if she was a blood rounder the year prior, but she's a very competent wrestler. The goal is to win, to get past this, and then we're on the podium, and then we're just trying to work our way up the podium.
I was really freaking mad. Before the match, I said, "Dad, I'm gonna kill her," and he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, heavy hands, looking to get back to what we do well against wrestlers that are built like this.
And that was really annoying because there's no way you're gonna be able to headlock me. I'm like, why are you doing that again? It did work the first time, you're just making both of us tired.
She could have, you know, slammed the girl back and gotten two, but we're a little tentative, in part because we know it's at stake, and I'm okay with that. And at this point, you have to feel pretty good about things. You know, your athlete's found a way to score, not off a headlock or an exchange. That's got to give her a little bit of confidence. You know, now she knows that she can score from neutral in a more controlled fashion. So that's good. It was really hard not to tear up. In fact, I probably did a little bit. We're on the podium. Now we can take a few breaths. We can be a little lighter. We can focus on just going out and having fun. She's still got a lot of conflicted feelings going on. I mean, her head's still partially on the last match. I mean, it's normal to feel that way. You know, she's not super happy right now, and we want her to be happy. We want her to know that she's done the right things, and she's now, you know, one of the really good girls in her bracket, and that she should feel happy.
I'm still kind of pissed.
Just come talk to me before your next match.
I know, just show me. I'm still mad, so I'm not happy.
You know what? Go back and get third. Let's get you some food.
Number 4.
You could already tell I was pissed in like the first 5 seconds. Like, I just didn't like her. I used to be able to do switches until I hurt my elbow, but what I would do is sit out into a Peterson or just come out the back, but I didn't do a lot of that because of my elbow, so I would just kind of throw my elbow up in the air and try to stand up with it. I don't know if there's really much to say about it, but I got off the match and I wasn't cooled off necessarily, but I got that moment of air, and then it kind of all hit me at once, and then I was in a lot of pain.
So this is the match to see if we go for third or if we go for seventh. The young lady she's wrestling is from Colfax, Mingo. Her name's Kylie Doty, very good wrestler. She's also coming down in weight. So last year she wrestled Izzy in the third place match at 138. So she's dropped to 130. A lot of times Tatum has a strength advantage over her opponents because of all her training in the off season. We're not gonna have a strength advantage here, and we're wrestling a very experienced opponent.
I remember what I was thinking before that match, and that was absolutely nothing. I'm like, you know what, Troy, I'm gonna try something new. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, nothing. I'm just gonna do nothing.
She was very aware that her opponent was going to come out and do a righty collar tie and do a swing single to the left. She's really good at it. It's really a nice shot. So there it is, good defense. The challenge of that now though is if you over defend, now we're separated, it can't counterattack.
Tatum, that sprawl was garbage.
And this is where it gets hard to wrestle a bigger wrestler because you have to bear their weight. I was impressed at how able she was to rock herself back and forth to get herself out of that.
Spaz strength is a different kind of strength, and I was spazzing out.
So she feels defeated. She feels like she's failed, even though we know that she hasn't. She's on the podium.
I don't know. I just felt like I let everyone down. I let myself down.
And it's really hard to overcome that and to put it behind you. These girls, they have a lot of fear and uncertainty, and they want to please other people. They believe that people have these high expectations of them, when in fact, we just want what's best for them. We want them to be successful for them, right? So it makes it hard to just throw the match behind them. But as her coach, I know that she has the opportunity, the ultimate opportunity, to wrestle a really good wrestler in the 7th place match that's also faced her fair share of adversity in this tournament, who knocked out Tatum last year in the tournament, and who's a really good wrestler in Alexis Peterson from Bettendorf. And if Tatum can beat her, that makes for a good tournament. As an adult and as a coach, that's where my mind is. Tatum's mind is on this match right now.
We're both super proud of you, and I love
So we're getting ready for Izzy's semifinal match. She's a little nervous about it because she hasn't been challenged a lot this year, other than her one loss, which would have been 2 weight classes higher than her.
I'm like taking a lot of deep breaths in and out because I'm nervous as heck.
Janelle Avila is very well known in the wrestling community. She's a former state champion, I believe, at the same weight or the weight below. So she knows that's going to be a tough match.
Because I asked him, I told him actually that he needs to tell me why and how I'm gonna beat her.
And I said, Izzy, it's simple. You're Izzy F and Deeds, man. And she's like, you're right, I am Izzy F and Deeds. So, I tried to continue encouraging her in that manner and letting her know that I have 100% confidence in her, and she should have 100% confidence in herself, because she is Izzy F and Deeds, right? And we get called, it's time to go down. I said, why are you going to win this match?
I'm Izzy F and Deeds.
you know, a good wrestler in Janelle, who's really kind of a bruiser, can kind of wear you down.
Janelle's pushing and shoving, and Izzy fights them off well.
I think I am calm at this point, knowing that she hasn't scored anything on me. I'm surprised she didn't take top because we decided that she's a very strong top wrestler.
She did get in on some shots, but Izzy's defense was good. It is a tough match, and it's probably the toughest she's had all year. Izzy chooses down, and I'm a little nervous because of the elbow injury and stuff, and we'd already talked about, you know, hey, you know, maybe that's not the best spot. She hadn't looked that great off the bottom. I'm not overly concerned, but I was with the elbow injury because if it got hit the wrong direction, she's done.
I wasn't too worried. I was worried about winning the match at this point in time because it's 0-0, 1 period left, and it's going to come down to the wire. And she almost catches me in the 3/4 Nelson, and this is definitely one of her moves that she is good at, and I was afraid I just lost the match.
And Janelle was the aggressor, but you know, that's the match, and that you can wrestle. It's okay not to be scoring in those matches. It's okay to wait for your opportunity. It's okay to win 1-0. It's okay to win ugly.
Izzy wrestled that match like a pro. I mean, she knew that she would have her best opportunity to beat Janelle if she wrestled it close. You know, and she wrestled a really smart veteran match.
Shakes hands, comes back over. I said, "Why'd you win that match?" She goes, "Because I'm Izzy effing Deeds."
And I think at that moment, if there was any question of whether Izzy was going to be a state champ, I think we all knew after that semifinals match that, you know, no matter who they threw at Izzy Deeds in the finals, she was going to come up on top. When we talked about going into the 7th place match, I don't think Tatum was excited to wrestle it at all for a long time until right before the match, her mind reset. But I don't know that she was excited. I don't know that she was nervous. All the frustrations, the losses was kind of gone.
So am I up soon?
They're going to start 7th place matches here in a second.
The Bettendorf girl she's going to face in the 7th place match, pinned Tatum last year, has an impressive resume, super dangerous, super good wrestler.
Part of the reason your 2-on wasn't working against Dodie is one, she's really strong, and 2 is you were kind of coming out. We always invade in, right? We're always coming in. That's what. Somebody once told me, and setups didn't make sense to me until someone told me, setups are what you do as you're entering your opponent's body, as you're entering their space. So you don't just set up and then drop and then shoot. You're setting up as you're dropping in and shooting all at once. You don't set up and then shoot. You set up to create the opening as you're shooting.
And I think we have a tendency that it may be.
Peterson, Petworth, Shepard, Ridgeview, you're on deck on match number 6 at 1:30. 7th place match.
That's how we got taken down in the first period last year. But, you know, we're a different wrestler this year. We're a little different on bottom, so it'll be interesting to see what she can do. And now it's a different match. I think Tatum's mind was where we wanted it to be all along. For whatever reason, she had finally found a good center from which to wrestle. I don't think Tatum understands how far she's come in a year and how much further she can go in another year with even fewer adjustments. And I think that every loss that Tatum took this year needed to happen to get her closer to where she's capable of being and where she wants to be. Would I like to see her run the table and become a state champ this year? Yeah, I think she would too. But I think if Tatum wins state this year, next year, I don't think she has the same opportunity to blaze through it because we haven't learned the same lessons in the same way. Losses are important. Losses are useful, and you have to learn from those losses. You saw her be persistent on top. She waited for Alexis to make some mistakes and she capitalized. The same mistake that Tatum did in the Ashlyn Miller match. And she was so excited that she tried to jump over with her arm trapped and it probably could have tore her pec or her shoulder in the process, but that's what we want to see. You know, she's really happy now. This is what we want. To coach your own child is very hard and very rewarding at the same time, because I think that any emotions that you have as a coach get doubled as a parent. So the frustration is twice. The elation is twice. You know, the motivation to really sort of think about how do I get the most out of this athlete is sort of married with how do I get the most out of my child? You know, how do I take this experience and the learning that happens and really help it translate to their life and not just the sport. In terms of Tatum as a person, the best of her and the worst of her is the same in that she wants so badly to win and to be successful. She has this fantastic fuel, this fire inside to be the best. And that's amazing. I mean, that's what you want. You can't take somebody that doesn't care and help them reach greatness. And she cares a lot. The challenge for her is how to control that and temper that so that she can also be patient to become the best that she can be while not, you know, degrading herself and torturing herself. It's been a great journey so far to help her get to this point, and it's been nice to have so many people along the way to help. But that's one of the great things about the wrestling community too, is it can be hard to be a coach and a dad, but it's nice that the girls wrestling community is so supportive and so helpful and willing to help kind of build up everybody, It's a little different for girls. They're in it together. There's a lot of support, and nobody's ever alone.
I'm not going to say very much. Thank you all for being here. We have some championships to settle later on. There is one thing I would like to say, and that is we've sanctioned girls wrestling.
You know, a special moment because a lot of us worked really hard to build this up and stuff, and I've spent 7 years. I spent 7 years, weekends away from my family, going to events, organizing practices, not caring what color singlet the girl had on. Bringing them together, making it a family throughout the whole state.
We've all been waiting for this moment for a while, and to see the sea of girls, of 700 some odd girls, gives you just this incredible sense of look what everyone has built. Not look what I have built, not look what this person's built, but everybody there was part of this groundswell of support and desire to have girls wrestling, and to finally have it happen. And have it happen now it's hard to describe.
But I think once the announcement was made, I think it validated the tournament a little bit more. I don't know for sure, but I felt like that. I felt like, okay, we're here, we belong, that type of thing.
They sanctioned it right before the finals matches.
And she got ready, and so this is maybe 10 minutes into her getting ready, and she's like, hey, you want to just sit down? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. We sat down, and as people are coming off the mat, we're talking to them. As they're going to the mat, we're talking to them. We're talking about the season. We're talking about the upcoming season. We're just talking about stuff. And she was so calm for that. I didn't have any, it was such an odd feeling for a state championship match.
And that's saying something about the preparation, the confidence, and the realization that you don't win matches by doing something miraculous. You just do what you do. And I think Izzy was focused on that, and she knew that if she did what Izzy does, that she was going to win that match no matter what.
Going into the match, I knew she was going to be a very strong competitor. She was strong, and I kind of struggled keeping her down. That was almost a terrible decision. Almost. I was like terribly tired, but I was a good enough tired, but it wasn't terrible. I'll probably always look back at this memory. This will probably be the most memorable because it's my first state championship as a high schooler, and it being sanctioned and just having all the opportunities this year. I think it'll definitely be a memory to always be looked back on.
One thing that very few of our wrestlers understand, and I don't think a lot of high school wrestlers understand this anywhere, the medal is something you earn before you get that medal. That medal changes nothing. She prepared for that and reached that level, and she's going to keep preparing for the next few tournaments. It feels good to win it, but it didn't change her.
Bawled like a baby during that match too, but you know, just that thought that that medal didn't change them anyway. That she was already deserving of that medal prior to that match.
You know, when you're standing on a podium with that medal, it feels good for 5 or 10 seconds, and then you're you, right? You're never, the medal doesn't change who you are. It's the process that changes.
I've been wrestling since I was 8. You definitely have to have a good mental state to wrestle. You have to have a tough mentality. You gotta learn, you gotta push yourself, and it's not gonna come easy to win those matches. Having that attitude and that mental toughness, it's not gonna all come in one day, and you have to fight for it. It's made me a better person, and my coaches have made me a better person.
I think wrestling brings out what is best of Izzy.
If you have somebody that loves wrestling, they can overcome a lot of the hardship and the struggle and the injury and the, you know, all the things you go through.
It's part of the DNA of certain people, and it is in Izzy's DNA to just be a wrestler, you know. And not everybody's Izzy Dietz, not everybody's Tatum Shepard. Some of it is I just gained confidence in myself. I won a few matches and I feel pretty good about that. Or I completed a season, or I made 10 new friends. To me, that's the important part of girls wrestling, and having girls wrestling is to give them that opportunity and the confidence that they're going to need, some skills that they might need when life kicks you down. For those girls, you know, they're all excited for each other. Most of them, although they compete viciously on the mat, but then after the match is over, they then again become family. You know, I think that the audience seeing our girls wrestle at the level that they wrestle, I think they're impressed. And they realize very shortly that they belonged on the mat.